Welcome back to the vlog. As you would have known by clicking on the title of this video, today I'm going to be doing a Zwift FTP test. Thinking about it, I'm seriously regretting it, to be honest. For those of you who have done one before, you'll know that an FTP test is certainly not the most fun you can have with your bicycle. If you guys don't know what FTP stands for, it stands for Functional Threshold Power, which basically means the most amount of watts you can possibly push out within the time frame of 1 hour. It is one measurement of finding out just how fit you are. It's going to be painful and it's going to be sweaty, but the reason why I'm doing it is it's important in your training to set a benchmark so that in the future you can come back and refer back and see how much fitter you've got. As I mentioned in a recent video with Francis that you might have seen, we talked through all of the mountain bike races that we are entered into this year. So it goes without saying, obviously being as fit as humanly possible is going to be really key in our success this year. So to give you an idea, I've been doing roughly about 2 or 3 Zwift races a week, plus a couple of endurance rides, so maybe 2 or 3 hours. But yeah, generally riding a little bit less than I would have done in previous years when I was racing on the road. So yeah, this test today is going to be interesting. Tell you what, previously I would have really loved the day that I had to do my 20-minute test. Nowadays, not so much. Now there are lots of different ways to obtain your FTP figure. Today I'm going to be using the wonderful world of Zwift, but you can also do it through your Wahoo or Garmin head units. And then if you want to get all scientific, you can go to someone who does lactate testing and get your VO2 done that way. It's also important to note that the figure that I'm going to get after my FTP test on the turbo from Zwift is an estimate. The only way you're going to get that more accurate is, as I say, by going into a lab. So within the workout section of Zwift, there are 4 options that you will see that will pop up in order for you to capture your FTP. The first 2 involve 20-minute tests with a long version and a short version, and the second 2 options are a ramp test. The only difference is, as far as I can see, between the longer ones have a little bit more of a warm-up and maybe a longer cool-down. Now luckily for this session, I will not need to go for a full hour at full gas in order to capture my FTP. The way that Zwift does it in my case is you do an absolute maximal 20-minute test and it all works out from that. So if you do have a smart trainer just like I do, the smart turbo trainer will swap between erg mode and manual mode. Okay, so in order to prepare myself optimally for this turbo session, I need 3 things. Start with chamois cream from Veloskin. Then I like to make sure that I have one of these Turbo Plus gel. And the final thing is to make sure I'm in the right mood. And I do that by listening to a bit of a hype playlist. So I'm gonna get kitted up and then I'll get on my turbo. So obviously a good warm-up is going to be absolutely crucial. Now Zwift is really useful because, as you can see on the left hand side of the screen there, it breaks down the session really well into segments. It tells you exactly what watts to do for each segment. So originally I was going to go for the full length test, but I've decided instead to go for the short one. I really haven't ridden with the erg mode that much, and whenever it does kick in, it always catches me off guard. So after I've done these 3 minutes, Zwift gave me 2 minutes at 3:85, which is quite high. As you can see today, I've gone for the retro Wiggins Lecole cap to match my on-screen Wiggins Lecole kit. Oh, I can already tell this is going to be a hard session. Just a minute and a half till the FTP's test begins. Here we go. Started up fairly confident at over 350 watts. I think it took me about 5 minutes before I started to really start to think, okay, this session is gonna hurt. And I think it was about at the 10-minute mark where I thought maybe it dropped down to about 340, and I was like, I don't know if I can still sustain this. So I think I started to sit at about 330. I did that quite well until the last 5 minutes or so, and then I was kind of happy with anything over 310 at that point. So it kind of dropped off, and right at the end, I gave the last minute or so. I think I averaged about 340.
5 minutes later.
Yeah, so just about caught my breath now. If you didn't already notice, that was hard. Woo! Oh, that's better. Now, you could say that did not go to plan. That was probably the most interesting test I have done, but I don't know what I expected, to be honest. But anyway, before I go through the results of that test, I wanted to introduce to the channel a brand new sponsor that I'm really excited about. For any of you viewers living in London or across Surrey, this one is for you. Havbike is a company who collect, service and deliver your bike right back to your home address in between 48 and 72 hours. Just like that, super easy. And in fact, they are coming this afternoon to collect my Ribble Endurance for its long overdue winter service. Anyway, now let's crack on with that dreaded FTP results. Okay, so a few of you might have seen, if you follow me on Strava, I named the session Nope, because that's how I felt when I finished it. I actually had a slight panic in my head. I don't know what power to try and stick at. And the figure that came straight into my mind was 350. Very quickly and embarrassingly, I realized that maybe that had been a little bit too ambitious. But as Vegan Cyclist says, I did have some excuses. And the first one, rather embarrassingly, is normally, as you guys would have seen, I do my turboing in a garage, freezing cold. And today I'm turboing right next to the radiator, which is always nice. And did not help with my overheating. Despite having a fan in my face, I suffered. So firstly, I'm going to share with you my 20-minute power from this test. And then I'll share with you my FTP result. Looking at Strava here, my 20 minutes has come out at 3:26. Which is a little bit embarrassing, I must say. It was not long ago that I did 409 watts. Bearing in mind that that was out on the road on a climb in Spain, optimal conditions. Obviously, it can't compare that result to the one that I did today. According to Zwift now, my FTP is 310 now. Interestingly enough, on this section, I can see it's recorded my best 20 minutes on Zwift for this year at 363. So obviously they're a fair bit higher than the one that I just did. I'd certainly got everything out of me. There wasn't much more that I could have done. As I said previously, it is a benchmark which I will refer back to as my mountain bike training increases and I get fitter. Now I've got my FTP as well, I can fully update my zones to make sure that I'm getting the most out of all of my training. If you guys did enjoy this kind of content, then please do stay tuned, because I've got a whole load of content planned with good friend and Kenyan DHB Sun God pro rider Rory Townsend, who is also a qualified coach, and we're hoping to do some coaching and training specific content. So there you go, this must be the collection. All right.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi.
Right, my bike is now in the safe hands of Havbike, and they're taking it back to their workshop and giving it a service, and they'll be dropping it off to me in a couple of days. So stay tuned for that. But as usual, guys, thank you for watching, and we'll see you on the next one. Ciao.